Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Zohar. It's an energy connection with the Zohar. We do every Friday at 12:15 Central Time. This week's portion is a double portion of Behar and Bechukotai, which we'll talk about in a second. And before we begin, I want to set our consciousness. There's a lot going on in the world. There's always a lot going on in the world, but it's especially significant when there's a lot going on in the world and we actually see what's going on in the world. So I want to set our consciousness to, as we connect to these verses, keep in mind that we are connecting to the flawless universe, the upper realm. And so we have the opportunity to channel all kinds of blessings. And so firstly, I want to channel the blessings of healing for all those people we know who needs healing. Anyone who you know who needs healing, if you know their name, great. If you just can see their face, just send them energy of healing. Minda ben Chaya, Moshe ben Chana, Albert ben Imelda, Imelda ben Carmen, Ariel bat Rivka Tova, Shem Devar B'Chana Chaya, Levi ben Bluma, Sar bat Malka, Yitzchak ben Rivka, Melis bat Margie, Chana bat Rivka, Yudit Masanavon bat Aviva, Ganes bat Rachel Dina, Srapel bat Dita Reza, Carol bat Susan, Aviva bat Naina. Also, let's send energy of assistance to those souls that are in the first 12 months of their elevation. We want to send them energy of comfort and assistance and elevation on that journey, specifically the two people who were murdered in Washington this week. We want to send their souls also assistance on their journey. Also, let's connect to the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone in the world with human decency, protection from evil eye and evil speech, ending the wars and conflicts in our world, the safe release of all the hostages being held by Hamas, protection for all those innocents that are in harm's way the world over, and removal of chaos and negativity from our world. Okay. Also, today we have the assistance of, it's the anniversary of elevation of Rabbi Yeshua Asher al-Porisov. I believe he was one of the teachers of Rabbi Shlag, so we have his assistance today, a very elevated soul. Okay, so before we get into the Zohar, just to position things, there's two portions. One is Behar and one is Bechukotai. We're reading, again, verse 25 from Bechukotai in the printed version of the Zohar. It's volume 25 in the English Aramaic version. And just a couple of thoughts about Behar and Bechukotai. Our teachers, there's a lot here between these two portions. But I just want to focus on one particular aspect of what does it mean, Behar? What does Behar mean? It means on the mountain. And so for us, it's simple. Mountain is an opportunity for us to elevate our consciousness. It's us elevating our consciousness over the hurdles that we encounter. And keep in mind that the hurdles that we encounter, the challenges that we encounter, are there to assist us in elevating. So there's a huge energy of elevation this week. And just thematically, I think it's important as we connect to the Zohar. Okay. Verse 25. V'natati shalom ba'aretz u'chavtem de'en macharid v'gomer. Rabbi Yossi Patach. Rigzu v'al techata'u v'gomer. Rigzu v'al techata'u haikra ukmuha. Devai bar nashel ar gaza yetzer tova al yetzer hara v'shapir. Ava b'sha'ata de ramash le'elia. Uvar nash shachiv al arsei. Kama gardine de musin mitarin be'alma. V'azlin v'shatin, u'v'nei nasha ba'an it ragza mikame kuchabrichu u'dachala minei. Begin dela yishtechach nafshe b'gavaihu v'yishtei ziv minaihu. V'iv'e le lebarnash dela yapik minaihu mila b'fumei. Begin dela yitar luhu l'gabe v'la yishtachun b'hadei. Haduk l'tiv imru bilvavchem al mishkavchem v'domu sela dela Yapik minahu mila mipume. Vicky?
And I will give you peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid.
Okay,
Rabbi,
so
yeah.
so the title verse is this is energy of peace. And the verse actually gives a great idea. What do we mean peace? Well, it means when you lie down, you're not going to have fear. Like it's a world. How is that possible? How could we be in a world without fear? I mean, look around. There's like threats everywhere. There always is, even though we don't see them. But like this is the idea of at the end of days, even in the face of all the chaos that goes on in the world, that's not the natural state of events. Chaos is not the natural state of events. So it's like, okay, is this something we have to wait for? So I was listening to an old class, a class I think from last year that Michael did on this portion, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I heard it from, but it was from Michael. But the idea is that we can see the chaos in our lives as just random chaos, or we can see it as part of the journey we're here on. Like everything is coming from the light. And if we want to maintain a connection to the light, we're allowed to be sad, we're allowed to be bitter, we're allowed to be upset, we're allowed to have emotional reactions. That's human, that's part of our human experience. But we have to understand that it's not coming from an independent source. It's all coming from the creator. And if it's all coming from the creator, then ultimately it's for our own good. It's assisting us on our journey. So again, the first opportunity we have just in reading this verse is an opportunity to shift our mindsets to understand that while we experience negative emotions and positive emotions, they're all coming from the creator. And we want to anchor our consciousness in the understanding that we're ein od milvado. There is nothing other than the creator. And in all our interactions and all our relationships and all the things that go on, paragraph 25 from Bechukotai, volume 16. All things go on, they're all coming from the creator. The creator's not here to punish us. The creator's here to assist us on our journey. And so it's an opportunity to always connect to the light within everything that we're doing, and incredibly important here. Okay, let's continue.
Rabbi Yossi opened the discussion with the verse, "Tremble and sin not."
Okay, so yeah. So in order to understand that verse of peace from the portion of Bechukotai, Rabbi Yossi draws on a verse from Psalms, from Tehillim. And this is very commonly done in the Zohar. There's a verse that we're trying to unpack, and Rabbi Shimon and his students pull a verse from Psalms or other sources, very commonly Psalms, to help us understand, help us make a connection. And when they're doing that, it's because they see there's a connection. We may not see the connection. Maybe you could see one here, but many times you can't see the connection. And then the Zohar assists us in unpacking them. And so, again, the opportunity for us is to really unpack the uncertainties in our lives and to look for deeper meaning and to look for messages and to look for ultimately the internal energy that is in everything. Like if we could see the internal energy in everything, we could see where the connections are. We could gain deeper understanding of why things are playing out in a certain way. We don't always merit to see that, but we want to be open to that. And so right off the, off the bat right here, it's an opportunity also for us. I also want to say that, interestingly, there's a whole series of meditations and prayers that we say before we go to bed at night, because as we know, like sleep is 1/60th of death. So like we're experiencing a sort of death. I mean, our soul leaves our physical body. We maintain strings to the physical body. Part of the soul is there, but the other part of the soul is going up on a journey. And so the verses that we say, and one is known as Kriyat Shema Alamita, the Shema we say at bedtime, they're all geared towards assisting us in having the best possible night's sleep. And it's not just having a restful sleep. It's like, where's my soul going? Can my soul go to the places it needs to go? Can my soul get the information that I need? Whether I'll be conscious to it or not, can my soul get me there? Sleep isn't just about resting. It's about the soul journeying to assist us on that journey. So this verse, Rigzi Ba'al Tachtui, it's actually Rigzi Ba'al Techa Ta'u, but I pronounce it differently because I learned it from someone who spoke mainly Yiddish. This verse is not part of the Kriyat Shema Lamita, the Shema prayer we say when we go to bed at night in our connection books. It's not part of it. It is part of the Ashkenaz version of the prayers we say before we go to sleep, which is how I learned it. So I'm just saying, like, this idea of, the idea that tremble and sin not is directly connected to, now I see, is directly connected to this idea of peace in the land when you lie down. It's literally a verse that is said by many the world over when they go to sleep. And so it's just a very interesting little twist on this. Okay,
Hey, David.
Yes, Peter.
Just real quick, I just want to share because the power of dreams or the prayers you're saying prior to it. I just want to point out to everyone that I never, ever remembered my dreams in the morning when I woke up. And then I've been praying on the 72 name Lamed Lamed Hey for some time now. And literally the minute I started praying, I have multiple dreams a night. I'm just saying so that it's real, right? And then the question is, what do we do with them and what do we learn from them? But I'm just saying it's really, really important. And again, we said yesterday in another Zohar that Michael had said, they had talked about how important it was because that's the freest you are in your ability to connect to your soul and get messages to your soul without your, physical body in the way.
Right. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I first started studying, I mean, my teacher kept referring to me as the dreamer. Like I was having slow down a bit. I was having the most outrageous dreams over a consistent period of time. And listen, those are really important messages. They're not all. Some can be misleading, but sometimes some can be like stress induced and other things going on. But when you have these really clear dreams where the colors are popping and it's like it feels like it's really deep, chances are there's messages there that are important for us. And so thanks for pointing that out, Peter. It's a really important
You
point.
were actually briefly in one of them, David.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Not in any sexual way, please.
That's good to know. Thanks for clearing that up. Yes, we are recording, Stacy. Well, I'll put a parental warning on this one. Okay, Vicky, let's continue.
Okay, this verse has been explained. It behooves man to have his good inclination cause his evil one to tremble.
Okay, so the Zohar is telling us that what is this verse ultimately about? This idea that our good inclination can cause our evil one to tremble. Okay, so quick review. What do you mean good inclination, bad inclination? In Hebrew, it's Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Ra. Our Yetzer Tov, Kabbalistically, is our desire to receive for the sake of sharing. Our Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is our desire to receive for the self. It's labeled evil. It's labeled evil, but let's not even make a judgment about it. It's so natural. Everybody is plugged into physicality. And within physicality, I got to worry about myself. It's my desire to see for the self. I have to take care of myself. Who's taking care of me if I'm not taking care of myself? So it is a natural reaction. And so, like, let's not judge ourselves. Let's not compound the issue by judging ourselves for our selfish desires. We're wired that way. If you're a soul having a physical journey and you don this physical body, along with it comes the software for desire to see for the self. That's it. That's the default. That's what occupies our thoughts, our actions, our consciousness. That's the default. The goal is to rise above that. We came here not to stay in that setting. We came here to elevate. We came here to transform our desire to receive for the self into a desire to receive for the sake of sharing. We still have the desire. That literally is Kabbalah. It's desire to receive. The question is, what do I do with that desire? So we want to acknowledge, and right here is a very strong opportunity for us to understand that distinction, to try and go through life seeing those distinctions and understand that, yes, it's normal to have a desire to see for the self. It's human to have a desire to see for the self. But if I want to connect to my soul, I need to rise above that and connect to my desire to receive for the sake of sharing. It doesn't mean we're not receiving. We are. It's just infused within that desire is the understanding that I want to share. And so, like, I want to position all the things that I want in life. It's like I want these things that I want to share. I want to study more Kabbalah so I can share more spiritual wisdom to people who have the desire to receive it. Like I have a desire to receive it for the sake of sharing in my spiritual journey. It's not about me. I'm not trying to elevate me. Elevating me would be ego-based. I don't want to elevate me. I want to elevate everyone around me. So I want to use that desire to receive for the sake of sharing. And the same goes for like physical sustenance. Why do I want to, have a successful business? I want to be able to share the fruits of my labors with the people around me. I want to be able to give charity. I want to send my kids to college. I want to take care of my parents. Whatever it is, I want to receive for the sake of sharing. I don't want recognition. I don't want, it's not about my personal agenda. The agenda is receiving for the sake of sharing. And again, not easy because we're wired in other ways. And we're going to see desire to do for the sake of sharing, and we're going to see desire to do for the self. You see it everywhere. And once you become more attuned to this distinction, you start seeing, oh my God, where's the agenda? There's agenda everywhere. Like, why am I giving energy to like things on social media when it's just someone's agenda? Why would I give energy to that? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with social media. I don't have to say anything. Plenty of people do. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's plenty that said it wrong about it. But I'm just saying, like, we get drawn in. What happens? What does it mean we get drawn in by things? We're giving energy to someone else's agenda. What's your agenda? What's your soul's purpose? That's what we need to align with. The moment we give our consciousness over to something else, to someone else's agenda, it's like we're off balance. We're not aligned with our soul. Each one of us, there's no duplication. We talk about this a lot, and so do our teachers. There's no duplication in the world. We each have a unique spiritual mission here. And that's what we're here to do. Figure out what that is. Align ourselves with our soul's purpose. And that is it generally is a desire to receive for the sake of sharing. More specifically, it could be a lot of things. And that's where the work on aligning ourselves with our souls comes in. Rest assured, if you're on this path, if you're connected to the Zohar, if you're doing the work, we're aligning ourselves. We're in the process of aligning ourselves with our soul's purpose. But we want that to grow. We want them to be more strong. We want them to become more of what we're thinking about. And then we know when we're aligned with our soul's purpose, we're aligned with also the Creator's purpose. Like, that's your mission. We don't remember what we agreed to. I listened to another class of Michal's today where he shared, I think it was that class, where he shared when we're in the womb, we're taught everything we need to know in this life. Everything. And then with birth, we forget it all. And so part of the journey is trying to remember. This is why in so many of our connections, our prayers, we're asking for spiritual memory. I need to remember what I came here to do. And so, again, within all of this, within this section, within, our opportunities to connect and to elevate as we head into Shabbat, are all these opportunities to elevate a consciousness. Yes, Aaron.
I just wanted to ask a question about what you said. You said when you're connecting to the Zohar, and if you're doing the work, can you say more about like doing the work? What exactly does that entail? Is it like a personal thing, or you just want to know what you're taking?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think it's availing ourselves of the tools that we have, and with the consciousness of connecting to the Creator and connecting to our soul and seeing I think the work to a large degree is asking for assistance in seeing what it is that we don't see.
David, can I add, just because it was
Please.
really helpful? There's such a good question, Ron, right? And I think it's really hard to say as I go through my day to day, what's my soul's purpose, right? So what I want to offer up that, and I heard Michael say this, and it's been in my consciousness. So when I say the prayers, what he talked about was we are eating to fuel our body only to serve our soul. So that strikes me so much, because that is actually what we're supposed to be doing with every physical action we're doing. So do we have the consciousness with whatever it is we're doing that it's being done to serve our soul, which ultimately means serve the Creator? If we could live that every moment, then you'd be answering the question I feel like Ryan just posed, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. And but I would add, not only obviously it's not even with the food, as you say, it's with everything. So it's also in my interactions with people. Like, how do you know if the interaction is like aligned with my soul's purpose or not? Well, if you have a desire to see for the sake of sharing, then it is aligned with your soul's purpose. So again, it's the consciousness. The consciousness when we eat, as Peter points out, is a consciousness when we interact with people. It's a consciousness of when I lie down and when I rise up. Like before I go to sleep, by connecting in certain ways, I'm aligning myself with my soul's purpose. When I wake up in the morning and I want to, as difficult as it could be, I want to embrace the day. I'm asking to see everything as a blessing.
See, for me, that whole thing lands with the idea, and it's funny because I don't recall talking about this much in this community as much, but it really comes back to just like being grateful in the moment and recognizing that what you are experiencing and what you're having, whether it's the food that you're eating, whether it's the event that you're participating in, whether it's the conversation, whatever it is, for me, I think it's really focusing on being grateful in the moment that was given to you by the creator.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think we usually couch it in terms of appreciation, and I think one of the 72 names is actually geared towards that. So, but you're right. I mean, it's about appreciating everything. It's really about appreciating the light in everything that we encounter.
And looking for it actively, right? That's the
Yeah,
conscious.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's also about part of that appreciation is conversing with the creator. It's like actually having a conversation. Thank you, creator, for this situation. I mean, the more you can act, if you can verbalize it, even better. You might have that thought, which is great, but verbalizing it is also great. Maybe writing it down is even better.
Yeah. And not just stop there. I mean, I'll just give you an example. So this has been years now. When I'm doing anything outdoor recreation, which is quite often, I usually start somewhere within the beginning part of that adventure, Baruch Hashem, and that to me just grounds me, but deeper in that being grateful for the person who actually designed the bike that I'm on, who, the creator gave them the insight to develop that, or the person who developed this thing, or the one who put their time and effort into that piece. And it's kind of amazing what happens when you start to become conscious of that. At least this has been my journey. You will start to realize how much more you appreciate so many things you take for granted. And to me, that is drawing the light down to earth. And I think that is
Absolutely.
really our job, is to draw that into a conscious awareness for the people around us. So
Absolutely. And again, it gives us the opportunity to see the challenges that we encounter in a positive light also as things that are happening for me. And that's really tough. That's really tough to see. And that, again, another example of work. It's like that requires work on my consciousness. And the more we do that, the better we get at it, the more resiliency we develop in framing things in the most positive way.
Did
It's
you
like
say appreciating the struggles, David? Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
That's the harder part.
That's the harder part. And like, you can look back on the struggles and say, you know what, that I really ended up in a great place. But when you're in the struggle, it can be quite different. But I still want to, it comes back to this idea. I don't know which teacher said it. It's like, I think it may have been Mikhail, I don't remember. But this idea that just because I'm sad doesn't mean I can't be joyful at the same time. Like I want to always be able to connect to my unconditional joy and happiness, even when there's challenges going on around me. It's like, can you do both? Of course you can do both. All right, great, everybody, great points. Vicky, let's continue. All right, so now we're gonna hit an interesting concept.
Okay, this is well. But when nights fall and man lies in his bed, numerous seekers of judgment, namely damaging demons, stir up in the world and go and roam about.
Okay, so just so we're clear, it's not only it's not only our consciousness that we're working on. There's what to deal with out in the world. There is negative energy out in the world. So, on one level, you can see that what the Zohar is saying, when night falls, a man lies down in bed, there's a lot of judgment there. So there, okay, so let's just understand, like nighttime is a more potentially challenging time because there's a lot of negativity around. And so like, again, there's like precautions that we take when we're out at night. It's always a good idea to say on Makoach if you're feeling a little negativity, negative energy or negative entities. It's like we have the ability, again, a very powerful tool to connect to positive energy and to envelop ourselves with energy of protection. We have 72 names, we have the Anapakoach, we have tools to assist us in insulating ourselves as much as possible from negative energy. So that's also good. But you could also look at this idea as when night falls and man lies down, also like during the day, when we fall, in our consciousness, when we're in a negative place, and it's gonna happen. That's part of the human experience. Well, when you're down, it's like the other side's gonna kick you. You were even more vulnerable then. But we do have the ability, we all do, to rally, to use the tools, to connect to positivity, and to pull ourselves out of those negative experiences, those spirals that we all encounter from time to time. Sometimes it's good to phone a friend. I mean, use the tools, phone a friend, whatever you can do to reverse that negative spiral, because we're more vulnerable. We're going to get kicked when we're down. The other side is going to just take that opportunity to exploit us. And so another takeaway from this section is just awareness of that. It's hard to know when you're spiraling. It's really hard to know when you're spiraling. You might tell yourself, I'm okay, and you're not. I do that all the time. Like it's hard to acknowledge. Some people can't acknowledge when they're spiraling. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm really fine. I'm not fine. So part of it is like acknowledging and having the awareness that, you know what, something isn't right. And so from here, we get this opportunity again to have greater awareness of what we're feeling, and always ask, what am I feeling and why am I feeling it? So a presence to that. And that's like, step one in kind of reversing that spiral. And an opportunity, and again, also here gives us the opportunity for energy of protection from that. So as we're connecting to this verse, we're also gaining protection from falling into those spirals. Alex, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, question. This just reminded me of something. So I've heard this spoken about in many circles for a long time, this idea that there is a negative, dark, funky energy. And I'm just curious to know Kabbalistically, like, why is that? Like, where does that come from that there's even the existence of this negative energy that is out there? I mean, because I think knowing that, for me at least, would give me some direction to counteract it, right? But like, what's the idea and where it comes from?
Several places. First of all, as we've been studying Monday through Thursday, the book of Breshit, the creation story, it's embedded in the creation story.
Right.
So there are verses that explain that,
And that's the Arab, right?
Well, yes, it's Arab, it's the snake. It's like,
Right.
yeah, it's like there's those negative, it's, negative angels who we don't name, they're out there too. Also, there are certain portions of the Zohar where goes into some who practice sorcery and witchcraft. Some very negative people have also channeled in a lot of negative energy. So it's there.
So a lot of it is remnant, though. It's not anything new that's coming up. This is just
No, I don't think
there.
it's anything. En chadash tachad shemesh. There's nothing new under the sun. Like this, this has all been going on. It looks new. We like to say we're advancing. And I mean, there's many ways to measure that, but ultimately, from a spiritual perspective, we're advancing. We're advancing towards the Gemara Tikkun. And this is also a very important point. I'm glad you brought this up. You probably weren't thinking about this, but there's this idea that as we get closer to the return to the Garden of Eden, the Bila Maval Netzach, to the death will be swallowed up, where we return to immortality. And again, we have a golden opportunity to connect to the energy of immortality a week from Sunday night, which is the holiday of Shavuot. It is an opportunity to connect to immortality because that's what was achieved on Mount Sinai, and that window in time is a connection to Moses on Mount Sinai with the great revelation and manifesting energy of immortality, which we had until the sin of the golden calf. So like we have this opportunity to connect to that specifically.
I also want to just interject
Suzanne.
too. Yeah, because this involves Stacy's comment as well. It's energy. I think the thing to keep in mind is as energy and opportunity comes up, yes, we have free will. It's the polarity, right? It's the patches that we were reading earlier this week that it's written. We have energy and we have choices, and sometimes we can see, sometimes we have the blueprint, sometimes we follow it, sometimes we don't, and sometimes we're just plain ignorant. And sometimes we're just plain freaking lucky that we, or what call it luck or guided, that we choose the right path, right? Because we pray for that. We pray for that. Passion comes from passion, energy, desire to do something, desire to receive has the polarity. It just is what it is. Like you jumped in the water, you're wet. You're wet. Okay, so you're wet, so you're exposed to both, right? That's just how it is here. It's, you know what I mean? It's an easy way to look at it. I think the wet
Yeah,
thing.
I think so. Thanks for sharing that. I
No worries.
think, yeah. So
Billy Phillips, bless his heart.
yeah. So so anyhow, thanks for sharing that, Suzanne. So Alex, to your point, there are negative entities. There are definitely negative entities, and so we want to always just be conscious. It's spiritual situational awareness. That's really what it is.
And our best tool for that we have on hand is the Anabakoa.
Anabakoach, it's connecting to the Zohar. It's why we carry pocket pinchases wherever we go. It's also the opportunity we have to ask our guides for help. So to Suzanne's point, we're always getting guidance. But if we're not validating the guides, they're not going to help us as much at all. I don't know. Like, so we want to always be present to the fact that we have guides and they're there to assist us. And so when things are working out well, we want to thank our guides also for the messages that we're getting, for the guidance we're getting, for the information that we're getting. And so another thing that we have to assist us, Sanya, another thing to think about. Wait, Lala just posted, let's see. When negative entities smile through, wait, I can't read this. There's no way there. I can't, there's an icon that's blocking that. Yeah, I mean, listen, not everyone you encounter is first of all, not everyone we encounter is actually incarnate. Not everyone we encounter actually has a soul. So there's, we may see negative entities presenting as we walk down the street. So you want to just be present to if you're feeling uneasy, honor your feelings. It's like, it's part of our survival instincts. Okay, let's continue.
Thus men should tremble before the Holy One, blessed be he, and fear him, so that their souls will not be among them, but will be saved from them.
So it's like also we're asking the creator for assistance. In this case, fear is like awe. It's like when we're connecting to the creator, we're asking for assistance. We're always going to get assistance if we ask for it. If we're coming from a place of genuineness, of alignment with our soul and our soul's purpose, we're going to get the assistance when we ask for it. We're going to have access to that energy of protection. Let's continue.
It behooves one not to utter one word of them, namely, not to speak of them at all, so as not to rouse them against him, and so that they will not be with him.
Okay, so again, negative entities, we're talking about in this context, it's a protected context, but it's not something we want to tempt. It's not something we don't want to ask for trouble. We may have energy protection, but that doesn't mean we walk into traffic and think we're protected. So again, tread lightly. It's like, be careful, be very conscious of where we're going, of where we are, of what the energy of the situation is, And we want to be, we have control over where we are. Okay, let's continue.
Hence it says, commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still, which means that one must not talk about them.
Right. So again, those negative entities are there. We want to be insulated as much as possible. And again, our words have power. So this ties into directly to this idea of, I mean, we're familiar with evil speech, lashon hara. It's like we want to guard our speech, but we also want to be very careful what we say about ourselves. Like you don't want to be cursing yourself. You don't want to be saying negative things about yourself. It opens up channels of negativity. And we all do, we get frustrated and we drop the F-bomb or whatever we're doing. Like, we really want to be very careful about what we say because we're connecting to negative energy when we do that. And so when you connect to negative energy, you're leaving yourself open and vulnerable to negativity. Yes, Ellen.
So I was listening to a podcast somewhere, sometime, and something there's so many podcasts, so little time. And someone said and it stuck with me, that if the creator is in us, we are part of the creator. We are the light. When we talk negatively about ourselves, what we're really doing is talking negatively about the creator and the light.
Yes. Yeah, it's a great point.
I was like, whoa.
Exactly. Like, who am I to really criticize myself? Who am I to criticize myself? I have the light of the creator within me.
And that's the power of Satan, because how long have we done that? It's so automatic. Unless our consciousness is at that place, it's like, wait, this is the light. Whatever's happening is the light is perfect.
Right. Exactly right. Exactly right. Really important consciousness. Okay, let's try and take one more. Verse 26. Tachase b'sha'ata d'ishtikachu Yisrael, zaka'in kamei kuchabrichu, makati v'natati shalom ba'aretz, haid le'ela, da'ate kuchabrichu li'it chabra b'chnes Yisrael, gedein ushchavtem de'en macharid, maitama, begin v'hishbati chayra min haaretz, da'chaya dezina bisha latata, umay ihi, igeret bat machalat, hi v'chol si'ata dila. Hai belelia bimama b'nei nasha de'atu misitra da haduguti v'cherev lo ta'avor ba'artzachem.
Come and behold, when Israel are found victorious before the Holy One, blessed be He. It is written, and I will give peace in the land.
Okay, so
this is
like this is the idea. Like, what is it that we need to do for us to have peace in the land? For us to have this removal of chaos and negativity? For us to not be fearful of the negativity that's there? Well, the Zohar says specifically, when Yisrael are found to be meritorious. What does that mean? Like, what meritorious? So when we are aligned with our soul's purpose, that's what we mean by merit. We merit blessings. Is it that simple? At every level you're at, there are more blessings. The more we elevate, the more blessings we're open to. The more we move from a negative vibrational frequency and consciousness to a positive vibrational frequency and consciousness, the more blessings we encounter, we channel, we can manifest. Sometimes it might just be when we're in a positive consciousness, the challenge that we see as a blessing. Where if we were in a negative consciousness, if we're at a lower vibrational frequency, we would see the same incident as bad. God forbid. Like, some of it is like, where is your consciousness? And so if we see that everything's happening for me to assist me and not creating, not just like random challenges, then we're seeing the light in those situations, and we're much more elevated, and we're living a much more peaceful life. And there are many stories about different tzaddikim where they saw their life's challenges not as negative, but as opportunities for growth, as opportunities to change the world. And so part of what we can get from this section in this particular day's study is an opportunity to elevate our consciousness, to see our life as your life, and the things that are going on in your life are relevant to the whole world. I went for a swim before. I'm in the locker room changing, and some rando guy just started up a conversation with me, and he's like, "How's your day going?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to see everything as a blessing." That's literally what I said. And I'm like, "Look, I don't control. What do I control? I control how I see things." And ultimately, that's the power of being on this path. It's the power of connecting to the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and the Zohar. It's the power that we have in connecting to Shabbat. It's all about us managing our consciousness, connecting to the light that's in everything, connecting to the desire to see for the self, the desire to see for the sake of sharing, overcoming the desire to see for the self. And, and working on the things. If it's showing up on your radar, if it's coming up in your life, it's showing up because we have an opportunity to do something about it. It's not always clear what that is, but we have the opportunity to ask for help with that. And that's a tremendous opportunity we have this week in seeing a more purposeful and meaningful life in the challenges that we encounter, especially as we are right now in the last 10 days of the Omer, as we approach Shavuot and the opportunity to manifest and connect to the energy of immortality and peace on earth. So again, a really a lot of important ideas. So we're out of time. So thank you all for joining. Love you all. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Thank you.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.